Hi! Today's demonstration video is on how to make a pair of earrings. This is for beginner level. Anybody who's never had to work with jewelry before will be able to do this. This is not just for adults. There are children, probably about age 10, that could start with this. Also, men are very good at making jewelry, which is kind of a misconception, but there's a lot of little parts and intricate things, and I think everybody can enjoy to do this. So first of all, we need to gather our supplies. We have pliers. These are kind of like needle nose pliers. The second one, I really forgot the name of this tool. I'll have to find that out. But it's both sides have little, you can see like they're kind of like a, I don't know, a barrel shape, sort of a cone on each end. And then we have wire cutters or metal snips. All three of these usually are bought together in a set, about $10 to $12. You could go to Michaels.com, Hobby Lobby, The Hidden Treasure, a lot of different places, Amazon.com, and these are your basic beading tools. The second thing you would need are 2 head pins. This has a little tiny flat head to it, and this keeps the beads on so they don't fall off. The other kind of pin that can come in your finding kit would be, it's called a head pin. I don't have one right now, but it looks like this, except it has a loop on the end. Earrings like this, see how they're all connected together with the loops here and here and here. These are from eye pins, but today we're using head pins. So the difference is they're flat on the end to hold the beads on. The next thing you'll need are earring hooks, so they can dangle. And a trick that I use is felt, and you'll thank me because if you have a cat that likes to help you make earrings, this keeps your beads from rolling off the table. I normally use black or white so you can see the beads better, but I could only find red today. And the nice thing about making your own earrings is, first, it's much cheaper to do your own. Second of all, if you're out looking for a particular color and you can't find it, you can make your own. Today I'm making Bronco earrings because I lost my official Bronco earring, and I think that's why we lost our game like a few months ago. So I'm making earrings for Sunday in hopes that that will help. So I stacked this one, but I'm going to show you how to do this. You take your head pin, and I've already arranged my beads. I suggest doing that first. I have a big bunch of beads over here, and I had to sift through and find my blue and orange, and I've laid them out in the order that I think I'd like them. And so I'm just going to start stacking them onto the head pin. There's a blue one, and I have an orange one. And I'm going to keep going until I feel like it's as long as I want it, or as many beads as I want. The nice thing about this is that you can always take them off. If you feel like this is too many beads, all you have to do is take it off. There's no commitment at this point. So the next trick here is we have all of this, and we need to take this off because we're going to make just a little loop that's going to connect to this. The trick here is to make a 90-degree angle first. You want to take your needle nose pliers and go as close to the bead as you can, but not touching it. Can you see how there's a little space? I've done this before with glass beads where I made my 90-degree angle right on top of the bead, and it made the bead crack and break. So we're doing a 90-degree angle, and I always use my finger kind of as a measure and a tool to guide it. And all I did was push it down. So there's your 90-degree angle. I've been doing this long enough to know that where I need to cut the wire right here, the head pin off, I use my finger as a guide because if I'm making a lot of earrings, I want them all to be the same length and the same size of hoop, and I'll show you that in just a second. The other trick is when you're cutting your wires, always hold them down or into a trash can. I did this one time and my helpful cat who was around accidentally got poked with this, because when you snip it in one quick snip, it'll fly off. So be very careful, especially with people around you. So I'm holding it down over the trash. I did one quick snip, and see how I cut the end off there? So the tricky part here, and this takes practice, and it's okay to take head pins and just keep twirling them and practicing. What we're doing now is making the loop, and the reason we did a 90-degree angle is because when you do the loop, it'll sit right on top. If you don't do a 90-degree angle, it'll look like a teardrop loop, and it'll be kind of crooked, and your earrings won't be uniformed. So I grasp the end of my head pin in the middle of these round cone shaped see those? I just happen to know, because I've done this enough, that I'm going to go right in the middle, because see, if I did it down at the bottom, you'd have a large loop, and if you do it at the top, you'd have a little tiny one, and you just want just enough space to be able to hook it onto the earring hook. So I'm going in the middle here, and I'm turning towards myself. And of course, you'll see my wrist won't move. So when I open my pliers, the trick is to keep them against the metal. Sometimes people will open them, and then when they do, they slide, and your curve will now be a different size. So I have it tight, and I'm turning, and now I'm going to the shorter end of my tool, which means a smaller hoop, because I can see I've made it a little too big. I don't know if you can see that very well. So I'm turning, and this is the hardest part of this, is getting this loop. But there you go. I've made the loop. Now the other trick about this is, because we're working with metal, well, first I'm going to take my needle nose pliers and straighten my loop up. I have a habit of twisting them. We're going to pull the end of this loop, and we're going to pull it towards ourselves, add the earring hook, and then we're going to do the opposite reaction, because what I was going to say is we're working with metal and the molecules in there. If you move molecules one way, and then if you don't move them in the opposite way, they won't line up perfectly. So in other words, I had pulled my loop open towards me. Now I'm doing the opposite and pushing it back down. And there is my first Bronco earring. You see how the loops are? All right, well that is, I don't have time to make the second earring right now for your video, but you get the gist of this. Once you figure this out, you can make all kinds of different combinations. There's a lot of tutorials on YouTube, of course, on Pinterest. I taught myself how to make jewelry at a church camp at a lake in Arkansas. And since then, I have sold to shops in Santa Fe, New Mexico, my own shop, shops in Fort Collins, and also online. So this is a very easy thing anybody can do, men, women, children, and enjoy your new earrings. Thank you.